And we're back.
Ah,
Hi, baby.
hey, how are you?
I'm so good. I'm really like, can you tell I'm like feeling good after last night?
I can, because honestly, same.
Yeah,
Last epic.
yeah. It was so good. So I feel like we have to take a second at the top just to acknowledge for our loyal fan base and listeners, like, yes, we're coming to you a day later than usual, but it's for very good reason. And that reason is because Grammy was in town.
Grammy, Grammy.
And honestly, we wanted to be able to like talk about that on here. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, look, like it's award season. There's a lot of stuff going on Sundays these days. Like, I feel like there's something big happening next Sunday weekend, like
Um,
two. Like, what could that be?
does it rhyme with Schmooper Mole?
The Superb Owl
The
is
Herb
coming to town.
Owl?
Yeah. Listen, us Philadelphians, we're just like very excited about it.
Our boys are back.
Yeah.
They're in Jalen, Saquon,
Oh, God.
uh, our
Such
men.
hotties.
That's our men.
That's our man. ESGLSES
E-
Eagles.
e- yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, good. No, but I
We
am
love,
excited about that.
yeah, the city's going to be on fire either way, so that's
It
exciting.
really is. One significantly more so than the other, but still, either way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, very excited. Hopefully we get some new trailers.
Oh,
Um,
God, it's going to
we
be good.
have cocktails, and we could march down Broad Street together, honey.
Yes, baby. We'll send you a little, maybe just for fun, we'll get a little clip of us if we are out there just to like put into the episode as a little bonus. Coming to you live from Broad Street. Yeah.
Then you see fire all around us in the background. Yeah,
Someone eating horse poop. Yeah.
yeah, definitely pole climbing.
I hope
Yeah,
not. That was so scary. God.
a lot of destruction, but it's like fun destruction, you know.
Sure. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see. Lots to happen between now and then. And honestly, that's enough of that straight business. Let's get into the real theme this week. Last night was crazy. Like,
It was amazing.
in every sense. Like, I was seriously from start to finish, like, from the first performance to the end, I was like cheesing. There were so many moments where I was like, this is so good. Like, I'm not just imagining this. Like, it's
Oh,
actually
I
so
agree.
good.
I literally, I mean, I shed a tear, a couple,
Yeah.
especially. I mean, for the Beyonce win because I mean, of course, it was so well deserved and
Incredible.
just uh I felt like we got to see a different side of her last night that we were not used to seeing in a very long time.
Literally.
Like she was actually having fun and like being her quirky weird self that like I feel like has been hidden to us for years. So that
Literally.
was nice. I really enjoyed it. Like you said, every moment from start to finish I was in it. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, this is the best Grammys I think I've ever seen maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really
I mean, it
great.
reminded me of like the energy and spirit of like the really good VMAs. Because you know how the VMAs is really only good every like 3 or 4 years, but like when it's good, it's so good. You're like, oh my
Yeah,
God, I love seeing this really good performance and this like deserving award and whatever. And I feel like the Grammys never quite gives that. There's just been so many like disappointments and like annoying things that have happened over the years, but like they clearly took notes. Like they like I mean, they made such a show of like the president of the Recording Academy coming out and being like, "We've been getting your feedback," like, and they made such a thing too before every award, being like, "The 13,000 voting members of the Recording Academy, like,
yeah.
voted for this," and I'm
And I
like,
loved it.
"Good,
Actually, I didn't even know that they like had, a new president or whatever, the director.
yeah,
And I mean, it definitely like showed last night. I was like, wow, this is like totally a different vibe. It felt like elevated. It felt like I don't know, like a real award show, which I feel like we haven't. Even like with the Oscars, I mean, the Golden Globes were a freaking mess this year.
yeah,
But I felt like prestigious and like I don't know, everybody who deserved to win, I felt like won.
yeah,
I don't know. There was like a lot of thought and care that went into everything, and I loved it. I thought it was great that they, highlighted the firemen, all of like the first responders
so
to the
good,
fire, had donations going the whole time. Every artist kind of like, tied it into LA in some way, which I thought was really great. Like
yep."
it was moving. I loved it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they struck the right tone of like keeping that at the front of your mind, but without it being like depressing. It was very hopeful. And I felt like the artist tributes to it were all authentic. They didn't seem like BS, which I also thought was nice. And I also felt like from the awards of it all, like there, all of those categories were stacked, especially the big ones and like the televised categories. But I feel like it was a good distribution of winners, and the people that won for the right things, like because there were a lot of competing performers in competing categories, but it was like, oh, this person won for that, that person won for that, and that makes sense for them. Like, and I think that that was also really rewarding. And then I'll also just say it and take it a step further. I think part of what made it so good is that it was so like female centric, like woman performers, women being awarded for awards, like that's what made it so good. I'm like, with the exception of The Weeknd, I was like, I don't want to see a man performing, period, and I don't want to see a man winning. I just want to see these like dolls out here giving, and it was.
Really, all of our icons, all of our girls, they all were highlighted in one way or another, and I mean, they gave it to us. They gave us what we wanted. I mean, it was literally like my ideal Grammys, I feel.
Honestly, same. Like I really was like thinking about it as I was watching. I was like, what more could I really want out of this? Like,
thing I maybe could have, and this was a rumor. It was like very much like, ooh, maybe this will happen, and it was like a performance with Beyonce and Miley.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like the one thing I was like holding out hope for.
Oh, I'd be gagged. Yeah.
Like, and I thought that's what the surprise, which ended up being, was gonna be, and I was like, literally about to shit myself. I was so excited. It ended up being The Weeknd, which was fine, but whatever.
But Miley did come out, and her moment with Beyonce was so cute. Wait, did you see that tweet? I saw a tweet that was like, Miley enters the room teeth first, and I was like, she really does.
She really does. She does not give a fuck.
She was so good. She was like, I couldn't leave my Aliyah sitting at home. Sickening, right? So good.
Sickening.
Hey, Beyonce, we won.
Hey, it's me, Miley.
So good.
Uncle always used to say, why does she talk like she has marbles in her mouth? And I'm like, she really does.
Yeah. I think it's more like a cold. She sounds like she has like a sinus infection. Like, what is that? Like stuffy nose.
Hey, Beyonce, we won, Beyonce.
Yeah. But seriously, like, honestly, all of the performances were so good. You and I were live texting the whole time, obviously. Like, you texted me and you were like, bitch, you're eating this shit up right now. From the very beginning with Sabrina Carpenter, I was like, oh my God, Miss Betty Boop herself.
Yep, Betty Boop herself.
But you know what it really is? It's Miss Piggy. Like, that's it. That, especially when she did the, like, behind the wall thing, I was like, this is literally Miss Piggy.
It's literally Muppet Vision 3D when she does the song on the like pond.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then at the end she like flies back with her panties all up. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's so that, and I feel like, especially because her whole performance was very like old Hollywood inspired, like all the stuff that she was doing, the whole like tuxedo jacket and then the like little cane, and then she did the bit with like the various reveals and costume changes, the tap dancing of it all, like, so all of that like old Hollywood like physical comedy felt very like Muppets coded to me.
It really did.
And it was like perfect, because I think that strikes the right balance of who she is. The Muppets are like for young people and like whatever, but they have this sort of subversive, like kind of adult, like wink wink humor to them, which I feel like is exactly what she gives. Like it's still innocent enough on the surface, but there's like a kind of wink like underneath everything. It just struck like the right tone. And what I loved about it too was that it was not too serious. Like it was just like fun and lighthearted. Like I feel like a lot of times with the Grammys, and especially on a show like this where like they were really pushing the like recovery kind of vibe, like sometimes there's this like pretense with it that's very like, I'm so serious, and this is like wah wah, the maudlin music of the university station. But like it was just like fun. Like she was just giving like camp fun, and I was like, I'm here for it. Like
and I think like, obviously, like, yes, like the Muppets, they have that wink wink humor. That's why people love the Muppets. And it just was like very much that note. I loved it. I thought it was great. I honestly even loved Chapel's performance.
Incredible.
Historically not a huge Chapel fan, but I thought her performance was amazing.
It was great.
And I thought that also just was like the perfect note. It just like it struck every chord. Like, I mean, just yeah, bringing it all back to LA and
Yep.
just like, you know, LGBTQ. I mean, it was really freaking good.
Yeah.
And I mean, even though I hate clowns, I loved that. Like the
Yeah.
clown, like I thought it was so good.
Oh, it was awesome. And like she looked cool as hell, obviously. Like she has such like a I mean, she's definitely like a child of Gaga. She's very like descended of that vibe. And I feel
Exactly.
like I mean, even what she wore on the red carpet was giving very similar. I mean, she was wearing, I think it was Vivienne Westwood, but it was very similar to what Gaga wore on the VMA's red carpet in like 2011 when she announced Born This Way. And I saw a lot of like side by sides of being like mother daughter, and I was like, yes, that's look at the source material. Like, but it was so good. I felt like she was very like it struck that like sort of joyous, lighthearted tone, and it her every time she sings Pink Pony Club and I hear that song, it makes me think of literally Flaming Saddles in West Hollywood. And it was so funny because I literally woke up and checked my time hop this morning, and I was at Flaming Saddles 10 years ago today. And I was like, oh my God, like it's so funny. Like literally gay cowboy bar in West Hollywood. Like so funny. So I had like a moment with it, but it was so good.
She moved to the city and now she's gay.
That's right. Yep. She moved to the
Right?
city because she's gay. Yeah.
As she, that's literally
Yeah.
story vibes.
I mean, that performance slayed. The Doechii performance was sickening, like
Oh, sickening.
incredible.
The outfit, the costume
The
reveal.
elf is
Oh
the
my
throp of it all. Her
god.
like
Yeah,
uniform.
it was so good.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Tom Brown, right? The like suit that she was wearing. I think it was.
I think so.
Yeah. Same thing that Travis wore to the football game last week. Whatever. Good for him. Anyway. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, she looked incredible. Obviously, so deserving of that award too. Just like that's what I'm saying. I'm like the right people won in the right categories. Like thinking back just on the people we've talked about already, I'm like, obviously Sabrina and Chapel were up for a lot of the same stuff, but I felt like it makes sense for Sabrina to have won for the Pop Award and for Chapel to have won Best New Artist. Like that made sense.
yeah.
I'm like they both got their flowers, but they also got them for the right things. Like I think
Yeah.
Chapel gives more like artistry than Sabrina does, so it makes sense. But also like in terms of just like pop talent and like pervasive, like this was pop culture this year, like yeah, it should have been Espresso, for God's sake. I mean, that song was everywhere, like still is, and I loved it. It brought me right back as soon as she went right into it. I was like, oh God, it is really good.
So good.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like I thought those were great. I thought Gaga and Bruno's performance was so
Really good. Oh yeah, Miss Free People. She's apparently a forest fairy now.
Yeah, she's just a little dust fairy in the desert, whatever. Like, but she was great, and the two of them were so good together. Like their chemistry is just amazing.
Great. Yeah, I saw a tweet that was literally like, Bruno Mars is her new Tony Bennett.
Yeah.
You see the video of her literally jumping up and down during Brat, and she was like shaking him. He was like,
all right, yeah.
Please don't touch me.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have any chill, so
yeah.
But it was really good. Their performance was great. She sounded amazing. He sounded amazing.
So good. That was a little emotional, honestly. I was like, wow, this is like really, and they were both just like vocaling down. Like it was, they were giving.
They were giving. I mean, the only one that vocaled down more than them is Cynthia, which, oh my God, like.
It's incredible. Like just.
More perfect, like vocally than her, period.
It was spectacular. Chills multiple times during that performance. It's just, I remember texting you being like effortless. I'm like, obviously it's not effortless. It takes incredible skill, but like that's the thing is she just makes it look effortless because she's so goddamn good.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God, it was.
And she looked amazing. I loved the dress too. The cool, like did you see the front like flipped up and everything? And I'm such a sucker. My like little costume designer self loves a little hat with like a netting over it. Like I love a little throwback, like cunty little hat. Oh God, it was so good.
So amazing. Yeah, and like, I'm not like a old timey vibe song kind of guy, but I still like love the performance. Like
incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah, and then it was also cool from her throughout the course of the various tributes to Quincy Jones, then to bring it back to like
Yeah,
Janelle at the end as Michael Jackson tribute, like which again, if we're talking about like children, I'm like, mother daughter, it's like Michael Jackson, Janelle Monáe, like obviously, it was incredible.
Janelle. I mean, she's definitely not a. She wasn't there to be like the best vocalist, but bitch, she could dance.
Yeah,
I was
it was very
that
like
movie
evocative of the spirit of MJ. I feel like,
totally
which I loved. It was so good.
loved it.
Yeah.
And then we got our MasterCard commercial of the
Oh my
century.
God. Well, listen, you know what's so crazy though is like what other artist is doing that? Like really I only think and last night, I mean, I talk to you about this all the time, but truly like when we talk about like of the last not even just 10, like honestly like 20 years, like who is it that is to the level of just like enduring legend status beyond Lady Gaga and Beyonce, period. Like there is nobody that touches that in the last like 20 years. And I don't think will. Like that's it.
No.
And so when I think of like who could pull off a live music video reveal all 3.5 minutes long, just like during a commercial break of a major award ceremony, it's literally those two. It's Lady Gaga and Beyonce. End of list. Like,
Yeah, isn't that how Beyonce announced Renaissance? Was during a commercial?
I think so.
Yeah.
Or like the
Like
Super Bowl or something. It was like literally just like, and here it is.
Yeah.
But that's it. Like those are the girls that can do that.
That's it. It was so freaking good. I've had that song in my head all day. Abracadabra.
The
Whatever.
visuals, God, like
The visuals, oh my freaking God. Like,
yeah, I love it. The like that classic Gaga color palette, like black, white, and red, very like Alejandro coded, like
very Mary vibes. Ooh, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. That hat with the spikes, the red hat.
Yeah.
Everything. It's amazing.
Her hobbling around with that cane when she's the mayhem demon or whatever.
Yeah, she's gonna be hobbling around, I guess, everywhere, which I'm here for it.
Sure.
Maybe it's because of her
fibromyalgia. Right.
Exactly.
She's a hip replacement survivor. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but she ate that. And talk about dancing.
Oh my God.
She is so bad.
Oh, she's back.
No, none of the girls, the main girls, are dancing like Gaga.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
And the Paris Goebel, who did, like basically all like the giant Super Bowls, like Rihanna's, and she's an amazing choreographer. And I mean, it was just like perfection. It was so good. Great. Get back to ripping off Madonna. Get back to giving us that rah-rah shit.
I saw that. Literally, somebody tweeted like about like, this seems reductive, and they posted like a picture of Madonna with a black wig and like a leather outfit on, and someone quote tweeted it and was like, well, she's making good music when the retirement home's getting mad. I was like,
Madonna better than Madonna, okay?
Literally, that's the thing. I'm like, okay, fine. Yes, no one's saying that it's not like, copying a blueprint, but like, I mean, one of them's doing it better than the other. Let's just be honest. Like, okay. It was so good.
Fourth, like the in the chair when she's like, in the white outfit, the red
and the
outfit,
camera keeps like whoosh, whoosh, like back and forth. Oh, it's so good.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was so good. It really was giving like old Alejandro in the best way. I love when she's on her like Catholic iconography shit. Like when she does it in Judas, it's so good. When she did it and in Alejandro, it's amazing. But to see it in this like revived in a new way, I'm here for it every single time.
Oh, give us the tour. Let's go.
So good. Oh God, I love it.
7. So do we think she's gonna wait a year for the tour, or do we think she's gonna?
Yeah, she's not going to compete with Beyonce.
No, I agree. That's what I said. But I'm like, I hate, because I feel like Gaga always waits a year. She did that with Chromatica. Well, she waited years with Chromatica, but I feel like, it's just so long to wait. But we will do it.
We will. I mean, we had to wait a year with Beyonce too. I think that's just like the standard nowadays. Like when you're to that level and when you're going to bring the level of production value to a tour that they bring. Like obviously if you're like a smaller artist like Sabrina Carpenter, her hit album came out this year and then she went on tour right away. But like she's not bringing that level of like production. There's not that big of like a thing. I think And this again goes back to the whole sort of like who else is doing it like Beyonce and Gaga. It's like they are the girls who have certainly for the last decade, but like their whole careers really given us defined eras with like a defined aesthetic. They're changing their hair, they're changing how they're doing their makeup, their style and what they're wearing, the designers they're giving, the looks they're serving, like the music and genre and vocal styling and instrumentals that they're giving and production, the aesthetic and visuals of these music videos that are like cinematic, you know, like who else is doing that? Other girls may do it for like one album or two, but like just era after era after era, distinct, different, defined, like not afraid to reference or not reference, like every time it's literally them. It's literally them.
That's it.
Like,
I haven't seen that level of like production in a music video in so long, and it just
so
was
good.
so nice to see again.
Yeah,
totally. So like everything is so generic now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was 10 out of 10.
Yeah, incredible. Couldn't be more excited. I love it. And then obviously, I mean, we've talked about it a lot on and off, but since we're sort of going in chronological order, I do feel like we just have to like take a moment to really acknowledge like finally, yeah, the album of the year win for the Queen. And just her whole presence at that award ceremony was incredible. I was obsessed. I was dying because like people online being like, oh, well, she was like faking it. I was like, all right, Beyonce has many things, and as we've just sung her praises for the last 20 minutes, but like she's not a good actress. She was not faking that, okay? Like, and like if you look at Jay-Z, he was like, you literally could see him mouth, he goes, oh shit, like in the background. Like he wasn't expecting it. Like she sat down 2 seconds before they announced that. Like, and she had a wardrobe malfunction. Like her dress was literally like the boning in her cups of her dress were poking her in the tit. I'm like, if she was planning to go on stage, like they would have fixed that beforehand, as evidenced by the fact that when she came back up for Album of the Year, it had been fixed. Some poor stylist like sat backstage while she clearly was wearing it, having, you know, the biggest moment of her career, being like, okay, please fix Beyonce's dress and not stab her in the titties while you do it. Which honestly, I pity that person because it was probably terrifying. Like, yeah,
fired. It was amazing,
incredible.
She said earlier, like she was like, I felt like that was the most authentic I've seen her be and act in a very long time. It was just so refreshing. Yep. I was so happy. Like obviously, like so well deserved. It's been 20 plus years, like she said. Like she's deserved it so many times in the past, and arguably like this isn't like her best album, but you know, as far as artistry goes, I think like the more I ponder and like think about it, I think this is the album she deserved it. You know, I'm like not mad at it. I think she took a risk, and I think her message overall about like why do we keep people in boxes and like by like creating genres, like no, like anybody should be able to do whatever the fuck they want to do. Like be able to make whatever they want to make. Art is, it's subjective. It's literally like, why are we even having this discussion?
Yeah.
So I'm all for it. I think it was like perfect that she won for it. I'm obsessed.
Yeah. I think like it fits into the arc of her body of work because you think back to like, you know, obviously Lemonade is just always going to be her just sort of like, best you know, Magna Carta. It's just like, that is the Beyonce album. And when you think about it, the seeds for this album were planted there because she performed Daddy Lessons at the Country Music Awards, and she got the stank eye from all of these conservative ass, like old white country stars in that audience and felt so uncomfortable and so unwelcome that she referenced wanting to like feel at home in this genre, which of course is historically black anyway. Like, so she puts this album out, gets snubbed by the CMA Awards again this year, which is such bullshit. Then she gets nominated for not only Best Country Album this year, wins for the first win for a black artist ever in a country album in the like 50 plus years the Grammys have existed, and then goes to win Album of the Year for it. So in that context, I think it makes perfect sense that like this is the album that she won Album of the Year for, because it does connect back to her best album ever, Lemonade. So like to me, I'm like, it all is part of this larger like, I saw a quote today and it like is giving me chills recalling it. It literally was like, Beyonce has had to prove so much more than other previous artists that have won Album of the Year, because she had to prove her dexterity to jump from genre to genre over so many other times that she had been nominated and not won Album of the Year. She's done R&B flawlessly. She's done dance and electronic flawlessly. Like, she has given us hip hop. She has given us like visual media. She has given us so many different genres. And to now come to this place and step into country when there were people out here saying that she was like carpetbagging into this genre and what does she know about country, even though she's from fucking Texas.
I hate it when people say that. I'm literally like, she is from Texas. And then you look at Taylor Swift, who is literally from PA, who is able to jump genres so easy because she's white.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I can't even.
So it's like, it makes perfect sense that she won Album of the Year for this. I will not entertain any foolishness that like she didn't deserve for this or whatever. It's like, did she deserve for the visual album and for Renaissance and for Lemonade and for this? Yeah, she deserved all of those ones too. But I'm glad that it happened for this, and it makes perfect sense, just like it would have made sense every time before this. Like,
agreed.
Period, hands down.
So I cannot be happier.
Mm-hmm.
I signed up for the pre-sale.
Amen.
I guess we're gonna have to go to New York, but I thought about DC too, but DC is literally during the 4th of July, and I'm like, eek, scary.
See, yeah, I hear you, but I also was like, I think back to what hell the Chromatica tour was in New York and getting the hell out of there and like what torture that was, and I was like, I'm never doing that again. Like,
I know, I think, because did you stay at the same hotel that we stayed at?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we cannot stay at the same hotel. I think it would be easier to get a hotel in the city and take the train back instead of having stranded in the parking lot. Even though our hotel was across the street, there was no way to get back because it's an insane madhouse. But I think it maybe would be easier if we just took the train back. I don't know.
So much to consider. On top of all of it, the rumors that like this is just the first batch of dates too. Because every announcement that I saw was like, Beyonce releases the first dates of the tour. And I was like, think about it. Like, she did it with Formation too. She was like, oh, here's some tour dates. And then was like, surprise, here's like 10 more. Like,
yeah.
I think Gaga did that too with Chromatica. She was like, oh, it's a limited tour. Here's like 8 or 10 dates. And then she was like, surprise, here's like 7 or 8 more.
Yeah,
so, like,
exactly.
Because I'm like, come to Philly. If you don't come to Philly, I would see her in Hershey again. I saw Beyonce in Hershey, and it was like one of the coolest experiences of my life. Like,
that would be where I would want to go.
Oh my God. Like in a small outdoor venue like that. Holy crap. Yeah. Like, yeah. So we'll see. But honestly, like I got my Doug Dimmadome hat on. Like, I'm ready to go. Get me some chaps and oil up my cheeks, honey. I'm ready to go.
Oil up them cheeks, honey.
Yeah.
I was literally like picking out a pair of boots today already. So
hot.
I
love it. Yeah, I'm so here for it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all of that said then, since we're still kind of in our award season bag, I feel like we can like lightly touch on some other news that's happened in the last week. Moving on to the Oscars. Oh, God.
Amelia. She's done. She's cooked.
God, listen, your lips to God's ears. I hope that the Oscars ceremony is as satisfying as the Grammys was. Like, I hope that it goes just as well.
I think it might be. I really do. Like, I'm glad that the Grammys came first.
Yeah.
I'm glad that, the Academy can look at it and just
get the feedback.
Take the feedback. I think, like, there's obviously been, like, a lot of discourse around some of the nominations, Amelia Perez, and I think it's time that they give us what the people, what the actual fans, what we actually want. And clearly, we don't want Amelia Perez. Like, especially now after, of course, what's her name? The actress?
Carla.
Well, there was multiple different things that happened. But of course, a lot of it had to do with racism.
Yeah.
Racism.
I mean, like, racism, Islamophobia, like...
Yeah.
Honestly, like, anti-Semitism. It's just like, I was like, literally that meme from that of them being like, her just naming different minorities that she hates. And she's like, yes, yes, yes. I'm like,
Yeah.
And her like trying to be like, oh, well, those were old tweets. I'm like, old? I'm like, I have like underwear that are older than those tweets that I still wear. They're from like 2022. I'm like, what are you even talking about? Yeah.
That's years ago. That's nothing.
Yeah.
I was
They're
thinking,
literally from like 2020, 21, 22.
yeah,
Like,
I was thinking like '09.
no, no. They're like recent, recent.
Oh God, no. Yeah, she can't do that. No.
Like, what? It's just really wild because it's like, how did that even how did she get chosen for this in the first place? Like, aren't the studios doing research on their actors? Like, what happened?
The director is also racist.
Right, as evidenced by like that entire movie and just like the
Yeah,
story and the framing of it. But like, God. But then like
it's
these
like,
other actors signing on to it, like, why the hell is like Zoe Saldana signing on? Like,
well, that's why I don't know. She might be cooked too. I mean, I think Zoe probably. I don't know. I feel bad because I don't think she's a bad person. I think she's probably a great person, but you know, just signed on to the wrong project. But again, it's like you got to do your due diligence with any project that you're signing on for. Like, you have a whole team.
right. And also, it's not like she like needed the money, for God's sake. She's part of like some of
That,
the biggest franchises in the history of film ever. So it's like you can be selective with what projects you want to take on. Even if she wanted to go for like prestige, like acting project and say, I'm going to get my Oscar, like fine. But like it had to be this. Like, I don't know, man. Like even before all these tweets and this controversy, like obviously everybody online was like, this film is garbage. Like, what are we doing here? But like now to see this, I'm like, thank God all this came out while Oscars voting was still happening. And now the Grammys have happened. So to your point, I hope that like the voters and the Academy like can see the feedback from all this and like not mess this up because seriously, like what the hell? Like,
oh, oh, just give it to Cynthia and Ari, and we'll be happy. We'll call it a day. It'll
yeah.
be great. I mean, I really think they have a chance now. Like, I really think.
I don't know if Cynthia will get it. I still feel like Demi Moore is kind of like the favorite.
Oh, yeah, she probably will. You're right.
Which is like great because here's the thing, right? Like, yes, it would be disappointing, and Cynthia has been nominated. This would be her second nomination and loss, but also like Cynthia's got a lot of life to give, and she also is extremely talented. Like, she will get it. I think there's like no question of it. I feel like this is sort of like this is going to be Demi Moore's like, this is it. Like,
This is it. Like her big thing.
yeah. And I think similarly, and that's kind of the curse of like the supporting actress too, is that I feel like for Ari, it's kind of like, well, what else is she going to win an Oscar for? Like, I mean,
Exactly.
maybe for the Audrey Hepburn biopic, which is honestly not even confirmed, but like, I don't know. We could see. She has time too. Like, I would be sad if Ari didn't get it. It's obviously just an honor to get the nomination at all. And like, she could come back around. We saw it with Gaga, right? Like, Gaga got the nom for Star is Born and she hasn't gotten the acting Oscar yet, but I have every confidence in the world that she will someday. Like, so,
Yeah.
no.
And we also have Good. We still have Wicked for Good. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
who knows?
yeah. I mean, there's plenty. So I think, we'll see. It could go either way yet. I am curious about like where Best Picture is going to land after all of this now too, just because that's such a broader category. There's 10 instead of 5 to pick from now. But like, I don't know. I still think it's going to come down to like, it's going to be one of those things where like all the chips fall a certain way. You know what I mean? It's going to literally be like, okay, well, like the Substance just like swept everything, or like Conclave just like swept everything, or Wicked just swept everything. But like, I think, we'll see how it plays out. Like, I don't think it's likely that it's going to be this like nice, neat kind of like evenly divided, like, well, one of them got best supporting and one of them got best actress and one of them got best picture and one got best director. Like, I think it's all going to just be like, and Wicked swept it all.
I agree.
I hope it is.
I hope so. I hope so too. Yeah. I think my only fear is like, since For Good is coming out, I'm like, are they gonna like snub it just to see like, there's a whole other movie coming out? So
Yeah.
I think that's my only concern. But otherwise, I don't know. I feel like now, especially, they have a better chance than ever. I'm, I don't know. I'm like optimistic, I think.
I am too. I mean, listen, like, obviously we're mega stans, so like I want it to get all of those things and I think it deserves it, but doesn't hurt that these other films are like imploding beneath it, like all these AI things coming out about various movies that used AI, which I'm sorry should just be like flatly disqualifying. Like if you're using AI in like a film that's being nominated for like Academy Awards, like what are we doing here? Like especially in acting, I'm like, I get it in technical categories where it's like, yeah, we used AI to help with like the CGI of something, but I'm like, you used AI to help like learn your accent for your character in The Brutalist, or you used AI to like help you sing in a fucking musical. Like,
Um,
come on. Like, I'm sorry, that should be disqualifying.
yeah, it should be.
Especially
What was it?
against Wicked, when it's like these girls are singing down. Those sets are practical sets that they built. Like, come on.
Yeah. Also, another thing I noticed today, I was like scrolling on YouTube a little bit, and Wicked definitely is releasing like new featurettes and videos directed at like SAG at the Academy for sure.
Yeah.
I watched them. They were like brilliant, of course. I mean, it shows the ins and outs of everything, the set design, the singing live, like, you know, the stunts that Cynthia was doing while she was singing. So I feel I don't know. I again, like I said, I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I think so much of it. I mean, it is literally politics. They have to campaign for these things. And like, in just like in electoral politics, like it's all kind of like you can be the most skilled candidate in the world, but so much of it is out of your control because it relies on like external factors and like timing of things and things breaking your way. And it really does seem like these other things that were kind of like, you know, competing with Wicked are cannibalizing each other and like imploding right exactly at the right time for Wicked to like get a bounce and like break through as being like, you know what, let's pick this like safe movie that is like family friendly, that everybody loved, that brought everybody joy in a really tough year, and it is really good. Okay, let's just give it to Wicked. Like I could really see that happening.
Happen. I do.
Or because we live in hell, the worst thing ever could happen, and like Amelia Perez could sweep everything, and we could be like, well, at least we have the Grammys.
I mean, that would be a freaking oxymoron. That would be crazy. That would be like
Crazier things happen. Look at who's president.
yeah, we are living in 2025. Huh. Well,
Yep.
we'll see.
Well,
March 1st.
all of that said, maybe we should take a little break and
We chatting, honey.
yeah,
We put up for how long? 37 minutes. Wow.
we've been running our
Great.
mouths, honey. Well, then
Love it.
we'll be right back after this.
We'll be right back.
And we're back, honey.
Abracadabra, abra, ooh la la.
So good. I love it. I love it.
I love
Speaking of magic,
magic.
the most magical place on earth.
The most magical place on earth. Lots of construction happening.
So much happening, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I saw today that literally new track was laid already
I love
on
it.
Big Thunder. Crazy.
I can't wait.
They're
I'm
good.
already counting down. Big Thunder is such a sleigh, honestly. It's like one of the best rides at Magic Kingdom.
And it's incredible at Disneyland, and they're taking, you know, some of the special effects and bringing them over to Magic Kingdom, and I think they're going to add even more, which is incredible. Like,
Sleigh.
very excited to see it. I think it's still. I mean, obviously it just closed, but the fact that they're already laying down track is like amazing.
Yeah.
It seems
Yeah.
ahead. Hopefully,
I love it. You know what's crazy thinking about Big Thunder? I saw on social that legendary Imagineer Tony Baxter was at Festival of the Arts, like signing people's art, doing meet and greet. I'm like, that's so crazy. Yeah.
That is crazy.
Like he's an icon. Yeah.
He is an
So that's pretty cool. But anyway, it just made me think of it, thinking about like Big Thunder, because I remember him talking about the like goat on the Disneyland one. Yeah, I'm like, oh god, so cool.
Wait, does Magic Kingdom not have a goat?
I'm trying to remember from the last time I wrote it. I'm like, I don't remember, but maybe they do, but I definitely remember the one in Disneyland is more
Because you kind of like the turn and kind of go around it, so you see it for a really long time.
Yeah, it's like there's like a technique. It's like distracting. It's supposed to make you like feel the turn more because you like are focused on it as you're like whipping around and his head's like turning with you.
Yep.
And I think that's more of like a Disneyland thing, like so many things. The Disneyland one is like better, more aggressive, more intense, like more fun, blah, blah, blah. But like you said, I'm glad they're learning and like bringing that to Disney World then too, because like
Agreed.
we deserve it here on the East Coast too, honey.
Period.
Yeah, slay.
Yeah, and Dinorama is closed
Rip.
officially.
Yeah.
They did like groundbreaking ceremony where they just shovel in other dirt.
Yep.
Their shovels in.
Yep.
So it's
It
happening.
is
And there was a
happening.
new building that literally had like Dinorama, or like, I forget what it was, like the Dinorama sign, and then in the corner you could see Indiana Jones like looking
Yeah, it's
over.
so good. I love
So
it.
it's happening. I can't wait. I think it's going to be an amazing change.
So good.
Yeah. I heard somebody say Triceratops spin. They might try to save it and bring it to Toy Story Land as like a Trixie.
Dang.
Should be cute.
That would be
I feel like
cute. Yeah. I mean, I do feel like they have kind of already like a spinny ride in Toy Story Land, but like whatever. Give them more like kiddie rides over there. It's fine.
take up some more capacity, please, in
Yeah.
that part.
Also, like Hollywood Studios is a junk drawer anyway, so like what's another thing? Just throw it in there. It's fine.
Oh, big whoop.
Big whoop. Yeah.
Yeah, do it, whatever. What else? Test Track is construction there. I saw pictures. It's like moving very fast as well. Like they're doing a whole canopy in front now, and like structure is built, and yeah, that's like opening in the summer, like late summer, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. So soon. There is like, I know when we were talking at the beginning of the year, which is crazy to think that we're like already in February, and like we talked about this like, in the end of December, beginning of January, but like we were like, oh, there's not that much happening, but like there's stuff happening. Stuff is happening.
No, stuff is definitely happening. The big one that you sent me info about this week was the Imagineering offices that they are building in the old Galactic Star Cruiser, which I think is a really positive sign for Hollywood Studios for the construction on Monsters Inc. land.
Yep.
Because usually when they like build new offices near a park, that means that they're literally about to go full speed ahead. So
Yeah.
I think that's very exciting.
Yeah, it definitely is, because if you look at like a map, like an aerial map of how close the Star Cruiser is specifically to that corner of Hollywood Studios, it's right there.
Where they go from the Star Cruiser to click Galaxy's Edge.
Yep. Yeah, so they'll be able to like dip right in there.
Can you even imagine doing the Star Cruiser and literally like them shuttling you over, and it's supposed to be a spaceship? You're really in like a freaking minivan.
Yeah.
Like, what the? I can't believe somebody thought that was a good idea.
I don't know, man. I mean, listen, what I do appreciate about it, and obviously you could make a whole podcast about the controversies of that hotel and what happened and whatever. But what I do appreciate about it, and I'm not a Star Wars girl, you know this, whatever, is like, I just love that they like were willing to like take a big swing and like go for something. You know what I mean? So often lately, like Disney has been really like sanitized, and they've really like cleaned things up and not really taken big risks. And it was like cool to see them be like, yeah, we're gonna go all in on this like super immersive thing that's like RPG, like live action, and like really do it like, and especially for a fandom like that goes all in already anyway, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I want to see Universal do that with Harry Potter. Give us like a Hogwarts hotel. Let's like go all in on that, and like do, you know what I mean? Like more places should be doing that.
Oh yeah. I saw like the aerial footage too the other day of Epic Universe. Like it's like almost done.
Oh my god, it looks incredible. Like,
oh my god, I want to go so bad.
Bitch, the Super Mario Land, like I saw an aerial shot of all of that. I'm like, it is huge. Like you can see the walkways between it because there's literally like trucks parked on it, and it's literally as wide as like a 4-lane highway. Like it's huge.
Of course.
Like,
huge. The Monsters Land
with God.
the mill?
Yeah, Dark Universe.
Crazy.
Oh my god. Yeah. It's like Haunted Mansion Who. Like it looks, oh my god. It looks so cool. Obviously the Harry Potter stuff looks cool as shit. Like it's all of it looks I mean, it is gonna be like that girl for like the foreseeable future. It just is. Like
for like 5 years it definitely is gonna be until Villains Land opens at Magic Kingdom, and yeah.
Yeah. But that's what I like. I appreciate that they're like friendly competition for each other, because as they both openly admit, like they don't like attack each other because it's like they're not really going for the same people. Like they're not really in competition. I mean, yes, they're both like the giants in the theme park space and they're only a couple miles away from each other, but like their competition really does keep each of the other on their toes in the best way. So like long live them both, honestly.
Yeah, period.
And also Universal Studios and Walt Disney World, if you're listening, we'll gladly take a sponsorship. If you want someone to come down and like just stay in your hotel for a week and like go ride rides and like vlog and talk about it, like if you just want a couple of just little queens to go queen out, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Somebody's got
We'll do it.
So yeah.
Somebody's got
I love it. Well, I gotta tell you something very exciting.
What? What's up?
I'm going to Disney World 2 weeks from today. So you told someone. Yeah, my mom is gifting me a little mommy and me trip. We're going together just for a couple days. Like nothing crazy. Like we're just going to go for like 3 nights. President's Day weekend. So we'll leave like the Monday of President's Day. So we'll be there. And anybody who's listening to this, if you happen to be in Disney World that week, like come find me. Hello. But yeah, like this is my call out to all the people. Like give me your suggestions. Like for like a gay and his mama. So it's just the 2 of us. We're going to like bebop. We're going to go to all 4 parks. We're doing all the things. Going to catch the tail end of Festival of the Arts because I've never been. So I'm very excited to see that. I'm currently outfit planning. You know, my stylist self is like getting me together. I'm getting my mom together. Like it's going to be cute and fun. But like I'm excited.
No, but like I'm also very excited for you. That's going to be amazing.
Fly down. Do it.
Where are you staying?
Caribbean Beach. I've never stayed there.
That'll be so nice. You'll be right next to the Skyliner.
Yep.
Yeah. Great.
I'm so excited. I've never stayed at Caribbean Beach. And like I've walked around there plenty, but I've never stayed. So I've been doing my research and stuff and like really cool to like stuff that I didn't even know about that resort. It was like cool to like learn. Like I didn't realize how old it was. It's older than me. It's from 1988. Like I didn't even realize it was that old. But like it was learning about kind of the history and like the renovations that they've done in there over the years, and especially the major overhaul since, the building of the Riviera, the building of the Skyliner concurrently, like all of that, and like the food and drinking around there, the vibes around there, like all the rooms, the Little Mermaid rooms getting a refresh recently. Like it looks really cool.
Mermaid room, that's very on brand for you.
I don't know if we are, because those are the ones that are like the furthest away from the like main check-in building, but they're also close to the like Skyliner hub. That's the thing, is like it's a huge sprawling resort, but there's really no bad place because they're all close to something. It's like, if you're at the other far end, then you're just close to the Riviera Skyliner stop, and you're close to the Riviera, which I'm also not mad about because I love the Riviera. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be cool no matter what.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So happy.
I know. I'm so excited. We have like a loose plan. We're going to I think the first day do like a little bit of like World Showcasey kind of like fart stuff, and then like go over to Hollywood at night, because as we've discussed, Hollywood at night is the only way to do it. And then Holly's never seen Fantasmic, so we're going to try and see Fantasmic, so that should be like very good. Yeah.
That's an ideal trip. Just like a nice short one.
Yeah.
Do taste and get some good food and drinks.
Yep.
And then put to freaking Fantasmic.
Yeah.
That is like...
Yeah, it'll be good. And then we're going to do a little, I think the next day, do like a morning vibe at Animal Kingdom, obviously, because that's what you do. Like, and then Epcot in the afternoon, evening, because I still have not seen Luminous, so we're going to see that in the evening. Yeah.
Really good. Love it. I cried.
Yeah, I'm hyped. So it'll be cool to see that. And then the last day, we're going to go all in on like Magic Kingdom, probably do some resort hopping, because I've got to check out the Poly Tower. I just want to see it. I want to like walk in and like explore a little bit. So I'm going to try and get some content around there and see what that's giving. And then just like vibe out at Magic Kingdom and like
that. The new bar, I heard it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of resorts, they are also continuing to build that Lakeshore Lodge.
Yes. Oh my God. I love that. I'm like, we need that. Give us another resort at Disney, honey.
Oh wait, it used to be Reflections. Now it's going to be Lakeshore Lodge.
Yeah.
But that's exciting. I really like, that's going to be one where I'm like, we got to go.
Yeah.
We got to go.
Yeah. You got to go. Got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you and I definitely got to get one on the books soon too. So, you know, I mean, like I said, look, if you can find a cheap flight for the day and you just fly down, like might as well just do it. But like for real,
President's Weekend. What is that weekend?
we're
April.
gonna be there the 18th to the 21st. So we're going like the day after President's Day. But um, anyway, listen, if it's not this one, it'll be another one. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
But we're definitely gonna go. Yeah.
And then I go to Disneyland.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
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 Yep. I mean, that's a really good sum for now. I mean, I feel like there's some good stuff happening at Disney. I'm excited to be counting down to my own little trip. I honestly feel better psychologically when I have a Disney countdown going. So it's really keeping me sustained, you know, through these dark days.
Through these dark times.
Truly. So, I mean, I feel like that really is it for Disney news. So we can get into our next little segment right after this.
Right after this.
And we're back, honey.
Back.
It's everyone's favorite time of the week. I love this time of the week. I love doing Drink or Drag with you. It always like lifts my spirits. It's fun to put you into a little challenge.
Drink or drag with my little slag.
Yeah, that's right. So I have a good one I was thinking about, and I feel like this might be a fun one because it kind of is open-ended, but we were talking about Galactic Star Cruiser earlier and kind of like the reuse of that space and repurposing it as offices. And I know people have mixed feelings about it. Like, I think you put a good positive spin on it. It's like, it's a good thing for the park because the Imagineers are there and they're going to be right there. And in the short term, that's really good that they have that space. In the longer term, it's kind of a bummer because then it's like, so they've spent all this time and effort and money building this like immersive experience just for it to become like cubicles. Like, that kind of sucks. So my question is kind of related to that kind of like concept, which is like, Drink or Drag, Disney putting together more kind of like big swing things like that are like big curated experiences, even at the risk of being for a particularly like niche audience, and also maybe more so like very expensive, because if you recall, that carried a very hefty price tag for like a very short stay. And it was also for obviously a very niche group of people, like Star Wars fans with like a lot of disposable income. And I do think that that niche of it all sort of spelled out its demise. My broad question was kind of rambling, but the more condensed version basically is like, Drink or Drag, Disney doing more things like that in the future.
That is a good question, and it's complicated. I think my initial reaction is like, no.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Because for me, one, it's insanely expensive. Two, and this might just be a personal thing, I'm not trying to go to a hotel and be involved with actors.
In your story.
A story. Like, yes, I like to like, I feel like I'm the type of person that like likes to be in my own head with my own imagination. Like, I'm not trying to have to interact with people and be like, oh yeah, we gotta go do this like mission and do this and that and that.
Yeah.
And like on all the time. I'm on vacation, honey.
Yeah.
I'm not interacting with actors, and like, I don't know. For me, I think that's part of the reason it failed.
Yeah.
It's just too much going on.
Like, I don't want to have to take an improv class to go to my hotel.
I don't want to have to be doing things on my vacation, like specific missions and all that kind of stuff. I love a theme.
Yeah.
I love being, enthralled in an overall theme of like a hotel or whatever, but I think that really kind of took it a step too far, in my opinion. Also, there's no freaking windows. There's no light.
Yeah.
Like, what? You're just, I don't know. It gave me prison.
Yeah. I mean, I think specifically when you think Galactic Star Cruiser, it's like a little limiting, but I think maybe just in the spirit of the question, I would say like counterpoint, I want to see them try and do more things like that, but it doesn't have to be so restrictive, because I feel like there's a happy medium. If you look at kind of like what they do on the cruise ships with like a dinner show where it's like there's a performance, there's some like light audience interaction, but you're still keeping to yourself, like eating your dinner, and like maybe one of the performers like, you know, gives you a little chuck on the shoulder, or like, you know, asks you a silly question for like whatever, but it's not literally like I'm acting the whole time I'm here at my hotel and I just need to like go down the hall and use the commode, but I got stopped by a droid telling me that I'm like arrested or whatever. Like, maybe not that level, but
like taking me to an actual like galactic prison cell while I'm trying to like
have a diarrhea attack. Yeah.
It's not ideal. I can't.
Yeah.
That's for me.
Yeah.
But that kind of segue into like my drink or drag a little bit, which I just need to hear this type of person. Honestly, it tells a lot.
I feel like you know what type of person I am about anything already anyway.
But drink or drag, waiting in line for a character meet and greet.
I like broadly drag. I'm not doing that. The only circumstance that I will do that under is like if I have literally nothing else that I want to do, like that is the thing that I want to do in that moment, and there's nothing else that I would rather do than that in the moment. And if that wait is like 15 minutes or less. Like I'm not waiting a half an hour, I'm not waiting 45 minutes, I'm certainly not waiting hour or hours plus, no matter who the character is. Like I love a character as much as the next person, but like they're a teenager in a suit at the end of the day, let's be honest. Like, or a face character still, like whatever. Like, you know, so to me, I'm like, prime example of this is like I went to Jollywood Nights earlier this year and they had some rare characters there and they had Mary Poppins and Bert, and I was like, wow, I really want to meet Mary Poppins. And like I was literally just there by myself. I had a drink in my hand already anyway, so it's not like I was about to get on a ride or something. Like I was literally just there to vibe anyway, and like I was chilling. I was like listening to Christmas music, hanging out in line. I was like editing some content and like sipping a cocktail, and I didn't mind doing that for 15 minutes while I waited to like meet and get a picture with Mary Poppins. So like that to me, I don't mind waiting, but like again, it was like a very specific circumstance. It was like for a short period of time, and I was like, it's what I wanted to do, and I was otherwise distracted and stuff anyway, so it was cool. But like I'm not prioritizing, like prime example of like the Jack and Sally of it all at a Halloween party where it's like, well, you have to get into the park at 4 and you have to line up and hopefully by 8:30 you'll be able to take a picture with them. Like absolutely not.
Absolutely never.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. You cannot catch me waiting more than 10 minutes to meet a character. Also, like I said, I'm just not like, I don't love interaction with characters. Like,
yeah.
I in characters and parades and stuff, but just little story about me. But as a child, I used to be terrified of mascots.
Oh yeah,
like terrified. I think that kind of bled over into my adulthood in some ways, where I just still feel like awkward interacting with like mascots and characters. I'm like, yeah, like cool, like love to see you in the park, but like I'm not trying to like do too much with that, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think that chalk that up as like yet another thing that Disneyland has that's superior, which is like I appreciate the more like kind of wandering around the park, because I want just like an organic like, oh my god, there's the evil queen, and her being like, and me being like, yes, slay diva, and like that's it.
That's it. Period.
Yeah. Like, I don't need to wait to, like, rehearse a script to come up to you and, like, talk to you, and then they ask you questions, and I'm like, I don't know how to... No, I didn't have a poison apple today. What? Like...
I'd be dead.
Yeah, what? Okay, yeah, well, I'll see you back at the ranch, whatever. Okay, bye. Yeah, like...
Get back at the ranch, I guess.
Yeah. So I totally get that. I mean, look, no knocking on anybody who that's their thing. I know a lot of people, that's like their whole thing, is they just want those character interactions and they want those photos and whatever. And that's great. Like, a lid for all pots, honey. But for me, like, I'm not waiting in line for something unless, like I said, unless it's exactly what I want to do in that moment. There's nothing else I would rather do than that. And it's not very long.
Agreed.
Because I totally have done character meet and greets. I've met Tiana, I've met Rapunzel, I've met Ariel, like I've met Mickey a handful of times. Like I told you, I met Mary Poppins and Bert. Like that was all cool, but those were all very specific, like I didn't have to wait long. It was chill. I was hot. I wanted air conditioning. I had a iced coffee. I had a cocktail. Like, it was fine. But like, I'm not lining up for hours and waiting to see anybody. I don't care who it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my only caveat is like if I'm with, like, well, like when I was with my nieces and nephews, if they wanted to meet them, like, cute, great.
Yeah, and that's different because you're seeing their joy and excitement of it, and so you're participating in that, and that's a different thing because it's not for you anyway, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I think that's fair.
I agree. Well,
honey, this was a good episode. We
good
we were on good vibes because like the Grammys were so good, it kind of carried us through.
Yeah,
I love it, and I hope next week we have just as good of an episode and we have something else to celebrate.
The birds.
That's right, go birds. So just an FYI, we'll be coming to you a day late again next week because we got planned Sunday night. You and I are going to be and this and ESGLSES spelled eagle. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so excited. I think it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a good one. Crazy. I love it. Well, on that note, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. It does us a huge favor if you would like and rate and subscribe to us on Spotify, wherever you listen to this, YouTube, follow us on the socials. We're out here. Please give us a thumbs up, a follow, a 5-star rating, a subscribe, all the things, because it really, really means a lot.
Agreed.
And with that said, thank you for tuning in next week. This was Ears to It. I'm Eric.
And I'm Nick.
And we'll see you real soon.
See you real soon, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.